You want to come up? Let's just move right into our speaker today. And we're going to have, we're going to start with NCLSA President and candidate for Second Vice District Governor, Vicky Brady. Come on down.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Morning. My name is Vicky Brady, and I'm a Sacramento Senator Lion. And Senator and Embarcadero have always been really close, right? As a matter of fact, Irv is an honorary member of our Sacramento Senator Lions, and so is Kat. And you know, we even twin with the same club, right? We twin with Tascayama Lions in Tokyo. You twinned with them first. We twinned with them later. So actually, we're kind of like triplets, right? That's pretty close. So anyway, thanks for having me, and I want to invite you all to come and join us for one of our meetings. We meet on the first Thursday of every month, and the food is excellent. We meet over at Aviators. It's at 6:30. So if you'd like to come and join us, we would love to have you. So like I said, Irv and Kat come a lot, and we really enjoy seeing them. Whenever we have someone new come in, I always tell them, you know, that our club is just a great club to be in. I really love my club. And we have 2 Keiths, we have 2 Jennys, and we have 4 Karens now. We just inducted a new Karen. So I always tell people, whenever you come to visit, if you don't know what somebody's name is, just call them Karen, because you'll have a 100% chance of being right, because lions are always Karen.
Okay, Karen. All right. Very good.
Maybe that's why we don't get a lot of repeat. Anyway, this year, I am the Youth Exchange Coordinator again for the district, and I'm lucky enough to be NCLSA President. So Brent told me I could talk about anything I wanted, which is totally open book, but I thought it would be good to give you updates on both of those programs. So I'm going to start with Youth Exchange. This is the official Youth Exchange uniform, and it's the color that all the kids hate, right? I mean, they have to wear this when they're traveling, but all the host families love it, because when those kids come off the plane, you can tell they're Youth Exchange, right? So this one is my son's. And he was like, Mom, after that, I'm never wearing that again. I'm like, okay, well, I can use it to give presentations. So this year it's canceled again because of COVID. And so that's really sad. But I did want to let you guys know, because even though we're not in the age range where we can go on Youth Exchange, you may know a young person that would like to go in the future. And it is an amazing program. And one of the big changes is it only costs $100. Okay, that's pretty amazing. Now that doesn't include transportation, Rich. And but they're going to be with Lions families, so there really are no other costs except they need to bring spending money. So they will have to pay for their own transportation, and if they choose a country that has a camp, a lot of times the camps have fees, and those fees usually run between $400 and $600, which is still really reasonable. Here in California, we do our camp at Camp Teresita Pines, although I was trying to get it up here at Camp Roswellis, and the cost there was $600 for the week. So all the kids that are from all the nations that are in that one country, or here for us, MD4 in California, meet at the camp, and they do presentations. They find out about each other's countries, they find out about each other's governments, you know, and they discuss all sorts of things that affect the entire world. So it's a really amazing program. And we used to just charge one fee, and that included transportation and everything. But you know, that was like decades ago, and now most people are used to making their own travel arrangements, right? Most people can get on the internet or have somebody that they know, and the kids definitely can get on the internet and try and find a lower cost fare to whatever country they're going to. And so we were getting a lot of feedback before COVID when I was the general chair. And so I was in charge of the MD4 Youth Exchange Program for all of California. And I was getting a lot of feedback from parents saying, how come, it's this much money when I can get that fee for like $400 less? And then you'd have to say, well, because, we want the kids, first of all, to be on the same flight, okay? Because it's not fair to try and coordinate kids coming in from all different countries into one place. You need to be able to have them come in at the same day and roughly the same time. So as the district coordinator, when we have kids come in, they usually come into San Francisco. So I make sure that I go down the night before and spend the night so that I'm there when the first kid arrives in the morning, and I stay there until the last kid lands in the evening. And in the middle, we have our host families coming to pick them up, and there's always a hitch. There's always something. There's a flight delay. There's a cancellation. Somebody's lost their luggage. I mean, anything can happen. And so we've had host families that got lost on the way to the airport. You don't want this kid to come off the flight, and they've been traveling for like over 24 hours, right? They're groggy, they didn't sleep. Even if everybody told them to sleep, they don't sleep. So they come off the plane and there's nobody there to greet them, and they're in a foreign country. That's just not right. So that's one of the things that I do, and that's one of the things that I really love about youth exchange. But if you have kids that want to go over, we have right now, there were 131 countries that are open. Some of them, one of the most interesting ones was Russia, but it's not a good idea right now. So, there is a camp for basically everybody. There is a camp for kids with diabetes. There's a camp for kids that are visually impaired. There's a camp for kids who enjoy music. That's the Sound of Music camp in Austria. We sent a kid from our district there 3 years ago, and she had a marvelous time. They study music, they're in Austria, and then they perform in front of the entire town. They do Sound of Music, which is so cool. So anyway, it's an amazing experience. Mikey has been, he's been a host family, and Joe Bowers has been a host family, and I've been hosting for over 20 years. I mean, it's just really great. And I sent my son over to Japan, and he ended up becoming best friends with a boy that was in the same house that he was. So at the time, he was almost 16, a high school junior, Christian, and he's rooming with a 22-year-old university student from Istanbul who's Muslim. And the two of them became so close that they're still in touch, which is just incredible. And they started a Facebook group for all the kids that were in international camp. And whenever something comes up in the U.S., those kids still reach out to Derek. Derek's 25 now. And they reach out and say, what do Americans think about this? And they don't know anybody else from America except my son, and then the two other people from MD4 who went to that camp. And but they're all young adults now. They're curious, and they understand a little bit more how all the countries work together, and they understand about so much more about our limited resources, how we share, and how the different economies work. So it's a really good program. It really opens up their eyes, and those kids are, pretty brave to go halfway around the world to stay with a family that they've never met, right? So those kids are the kids. They're not chosen by GPA. They're chosen because they want to come, and they're polite. They have they have good manners, and they want to learn. And so those are the kids that are very successful later on because they have the qualities that are necessary to really learn to succeed. So that is something for you to think about. And if you'd like to be a host family, not this year obviously, but in the future, I would be happy to talk about that.
Was there an age for the students, or what?
Great question. Every country has its own age limit, okay? So they can start as early as 15 in some countries, and go as far as 26 in other countries. So I just sent the list of camps to the Aggies, and because sometimes they get the idea that they age out, but that's not true. There are countries that, depending on their program, there are countries that go all the way to 26. So if you're curious, I can send that information to you too. Now I'm going to switch hats and talk about NCLSA. So I know you guys know a lot about NCLSA because of Rich and Joe and Richie, right? Okay, so let me tell you what's going on with new with NCLSA. The first thing is, this year the board voted that because we got such a great response from our VIP Jews clubs, that we're not going to charge a fee for using the van this year for VIP clubs. So please use the van. Joe has been, and Richie and Rich have been working really hard on it. It's perfect, and we have the certificate, so you can take the van out, and if after screening, if somebody needs a pair of glasses, we can give them a certificate right there for them to get glasses. If they're screened and they have a more serious problem, we can refer them directly to an ophthalmologist who will check their eyes. And if they need a surgery, then we can do that. So right now, it's March. We're on our third surgery. We're averaging about one a month to one every month and a half over the last 50 years, which is pretty amazing when you think about it, right? So those things that clubs can't do, I mean, I know you provide glasses, but especially if you're a VIP club, if you have someone that you know, someone that needs a surgery, someone that can't afford it, you can refer them to us and we will do that. So that's something that I'm really, really proud of. And in the research in the last 50 years, I haven't heard of anyone saying that we have ever turned down a surgery from someone who qualified. So to me, that's pretty impressive. The other thing I wanted to talk about was, you know about the $200,000 grant for UC Davis that went through and with the cooperation of the district and VDG CAT, it started it. And it is $200,000. It was matched by LCI for half of it. And what was purchased were 4 cameras that are going to be put in the UC Davis clinics. And those cameras can give real-time pictures to the doctors at the UCD Eye Center. So what happens there is we can reach out to way more people that need to be screened than we could having them come in to Sacramento. So there are 17 different UCD eye clinics, and most of them are staffed by volunteers, or they might have one optometrist, or they could have some of the students that are volunteering, some of the optometry students volunteering. So this gives them a chance to see like 4 times as many people, and because it's in real time, if the picture comes out blurry, or if they need a retake or anything like that, they can just let the people on site know and they can retake it, right? It's not like you have to drive into Sacramento from wherever you are and then go back and forth because it didn't come out right the first time. So that is an incredible, incredible achievement. And hopefully in the future those cameras will get moved around to different clinics, and we'll be able to serve a much bigger population. The other thing that we did was we purchased 5 Plus Optics, and some of you are familiar with the Plus Optics. That's what we use for the children. And it's a machine that takes the picture of the retina, and all the child has to do is just look at the clown face for 3 seconds, and then the light hits the back of the retina, and it aligns with the back of the retina, and you can tell if there's something that is off, that isn't correct, and it'll print out what that is, which is pretty amazing. So what we've done with that is we've expanded, and this is something I'm really excited about, we expanded that program to not just include children, but to include children with autism. So as you know, kids with autism can go on a big spectrum, but one of the things is if they're really far off the spectrum, they don't communicate. And so the problem is, even if they can see something, they don't communicate verbally what they see. So as a result, their parents don't know if they're visually impaired or not, in addition to all the other physical problems that they have. So we started this program. We had to pause it for COVID, but we did the entire ABC school, which is the school for autistic kids over by the Army Depot, and we found that out of the kids that we tested, 65% cleared and 35% had referrals, which means that they could use glasses, which is a really high percentage, because normally in that population you would expect it to be about 90% pass and about 10%, with some sort of issue, whether it's they need glasses or they're cross-eyed or all the technical terms that Bernie knows that I don't. So anyway, when you think about that, what it means is that 65%, to me, what that means is 65% of those children's parents now know their kids don't have an eye problem in addition to all the other problems they have. Okay, so one of my best girlfriends has a child who's autistic. And she also has a child that's mentally retarded. And so we use the Plus Optics on them. And she just cried. She said, I'm so relieved my child doesn't have that problem in addition to all the other problems that they have, right? You don't know if they don't speak, if they can see or not. And if they can't see, then, the motor skills are all messed up and it's just heartbreaking to be able to think that those kids have never been able to test. And when I say kids, I'm talking about her oldest son is now 32 years old. Okay, so he's the one that's mentally retarded. He is at the Jesse Baker School. He's going to be there for the rest of his life. He's in the adult program, and there are kids in there that are older than I am. And every day they go to program. And it's pretty inspiring to see them, struggle day after day after day to relearn something that they learned the day before. So one of the things I would love to do when we get back is to start to test some of those people that are at the Jesse Baker School, and so that's pretty good. The third thing I wanted to say was, because I've been really lucky to be on Youth Exchange and to be president of NCLSA, that puts me on two boards, which is, NCLSA Foundation and then LEI. So this year, I decided that I'm going to throw my hat in the ring for second vice district governor, and and the cool thing about that is it'll keep me on both boards as a governor member, right? If I didn't do it this year, I would go for my second 4 years with NCLSA, and I wouldn't be able to run for another 4 years, basically. So it was just kind of like, this is the end of my NCLSA first term, and I love it more than ever. I mean, it's just amazing what NCLSA does for me. I mean, just to see everything that we do for vision and how the whole district comes together and all the different programs, it really is amazing. And I wouldn't want to give that up. But by doing this, running for second vice district governor, I can do both, which is awesome. So let's see. So I wanted to ask you to please vote for me. And I wanted to ask you to give me feedback, because I really want to do a good job. Okay, so if you have any suggestions, if you have any ideas, please let me know.
You've come to the right club. There's plenty of feedback here. It's the most positive experience
Yeah, it's not
you'll
always
ever
positive,
get.
but.
No, it's great.
Herb.
Are you sure you have a sense of mind of what you're doing?
See, it already starts.
Yeah, does she have presence of mind?
Yeah.
Do I have presence of mind?
Congratulations.
I had Christmas presents.
We're
They
very
weren't.
pleased you'll do well. And have our support.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Rich?
I have a question about the certificates for people that cannot afford glasses.
Okay.
When people, clubs have a referral,
Yes.
can they get those certificates?
Yes.
Okay, so they don't have to spend any other money than for glasses.
Exactly.
Is that right? So they're readily available.
Yes, they're readily available. John Ring has them, and so yes, if you schedule a vision van, we can and let us know you need certificates. We
Right.
can have the certificates available, and we'll have an
So
optometrist.
without the vision van, the club would get somebody that needs glasses and that. They still-
Oh, sure,
Yeah,
absolutely.
okay.
Yes, absolutely. Those certificates are available. Contact Don Ring.
All right.
Perfect. And any other questions?
Any questions up there?
Oh,
They all look frozen.
Hey, Bob.
Dumbstruck.
What's up, Bob?
Yeah, they are.
No, they're not frozen.
His mouth
Actually,
does
he's
move.
just checking out your profile, so watch out.
it's the shirt. It's you just don't know what this color is. So okay, well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and
Thank
and
you.
thank you.
Thank you.